As the Resolute drifted closer to the Federation's shining capital world, a place where towering cities glittered under three suns and alien races bustled with pride and confidence, a group of Federation emissaries prepared to board the human ship. The arrival had already stirred whispers and debates across the galactic networks, and now the moment of close inspection had arrived. The Federation's delegation was a mix of diplomats, scientists, and engineers, all eager to uncover the secrets of this mysterious vessel and its crew. Their expectations were high. After all, most of the advanced civilizations within the Federation boasted ships that gleamed with polished metal and humming energy fields, crafted with technology that sometimes seemed indistinguishable from magic. But as they stepped aboard the Resolute, their eyes widened in surprise. The ship's interior was a curious blend of ruggedness and purpose. It was clear the vessel was built to last, designed not for show, but for survival and function. The walls bore the marks of long journeys, the wear and tear of countless repairs carried out by hands that trusted skill over automated precision. The technology itself seemed strange, partly mechanical, partly organic in its ability to heal and change. Federation scientists soon discovered that the ship's self-repair systems worked differently than anything in their experience. Instead of relying solely on complex nanobots or energy fields, the Resolute combined materials that responded naturally to damage, reshaping and reinforcing themselves with minimal human intervention. This discovery sparked a mixture of wonder and confusion. Some scientists marveled at the ingenuity. Others grew skeptical, unable to fully understand how such simple yet effective methods could survive in the high-tech world of the Federation. Yet, as the emissaries moved deeper into the ship, it became clear that technology alone did not explain humanity's resilience. What puzzled the Federation most was the spirit behind the vessel, what the humans called their philosophy. Captain Mira Langston greeted the delegation with quiet dignity, her eyes reflecting the weight of centuries spent waiting for this moment. She spoke softly but firmly, sharing stories not just of machines and weapons, but of the human journey itself. She explained how humanity had faced endless challenges, natural disasters, eternal conflicts, and threats that had once pushed them to the brink of extinction. Unlike many species that relied on technology as their first line of defense, humans had learned to trust their creativity and persistence. They had learned to unite despite differences, to see strength not in power alone but in the bonds they formed with one another. This concept of unity was something many Federation races found difficult to grasp. Most species valued hierarchy, efficiency, or tradition above all else, often viewing emotions and cooperation as weaknesses. But Captain Langston's words stirred something unexpected in the delegation. She described how humans had rebuilt their world time and again, not by relying solely on machines or weapons, but through hope, innovation, and teamwork. She spoke of everyday people who had become heroes by simply refusing to give up. The Federation. Officials listened in silence, some exchanging doubtful glances, while others felt an unfamiliar spark of respect. As the inspection continued, questions arose about the ship's adaptive systems, how it could respond so quickly to threats or damage, how the crew seemed so synchronized without complicated command programs. Mira explained that much of it came from training, but also from a human quality called intuition, a deep understanding that grew from experience and trust in one another. The humans worked together, not because they were programmed to, but because they chose to. This was a radical idea for many in the Federation. Over time, as more time was spent aboard the Resolute, the delegation began to see the layers beneath. The ship's rough exterior, simple metal and exposed circuits, were not signs of backwardness, but symbols of a species that valued adaptability over showiness. The humans' approach to problem-solving was flexible, embracing failure as a step toward success rather than a flaw. This mentality created a crew that could face uncertainty with courage and creativity, something rare in a galaxy where many preferred rigid rules and predictability. The mood on board shifted from skepticism to cautious admiration. Representatives realized that they had underestimated humanity not because humans lacked technology, but because their greatest strength lay in qualities that machines could not replicate: Captain Langston's calm and steady leadership became a beacon of confidence for both her crew and the visitors. She spoke honestly about the long years of isolation humans had endured, waiting for the right moment to rejoin the galactic community. She admitted that humans had been watching and learning quietly, preparing not to conquer but to contribute. As the inspection ended, the Federation delegates gathered to discuss what they had witnessed. While some remained wary, a growing number believed that the human philosophy might offer new perspectives to a galaxy too focused on power and control. The visit of the Resolute had become more than a simple return. It was a challenge to old ideas and a hope for a different future. Suspense hung in the air because no one yet knew what this encounter would lead to. Would humans become allies, teachers, or something even more surprising? For now, the galaxy waited, watching the human ship and its crew, wondering what new stories they would write among the stars. And deep within the Resolute, Captain Mira Langston prepared her team for the next step in a journey that was only just beginning. Journey that might change the universe forever. The calm that had settled over the Federation after the arrival of the Resolute was suddenly shattered by an urgent alert. A colossal, cosmic storm was forming near a heavily populated star system, one of the Federation's most vital hubs. This storm wasn't like the usual solar flares or magnetic disturbances. It was a swirling tempest of charged particles and violent energy waves moving unpredictably, threatening to engulf the inhabited planets below. Panic swept through the Federation fleets assigned to protect the system. Their advanced ships, usually quick to respond and equipped with powerful defenses, now hesitated. The complex algorithms and protocols they relied on struggled to make sense of the storm's chaotic patterns. Fleet commanders issued orders, but found their fleets moving cautiously, willing to risk their ships and crews without a clear strategy. The situation was tense, with thousands of lives hanging in the balance and no clear answer in sight. It was then that the Resolute stepped forward, Captain Myra Langston and her crew ready to take action. Unlike the Federation's fleets, the humans aboard the Resolute did not depend solely on technology or rigid protocols. Instead, they trusted something less predictable but far more powerful: human intuition, combined with years of experience in unpredictable situations. As the storm's fury drew closer, the Resolute navigated its way toward the heart of the disturbance with surprising skill. The ship's adaptive systems shifted and reconfigured, responding to changing conditions almost as if it were alive. The crew worked seamlessly, not following fixed orders, but constantly communicating, sharing ideas and improvising solutions on the fly. Captain Langston's voice was steady over the comms, encouraging calm and clear thinking. She reminded her crew that every challenge was an opportunity to find new paths, even when old plans failed. As the Resolute entered the storm's edge, sensors detected massive energy spikes and unpredictable turbulence. While other ships maintained a safe distance, the human warship dove in, weaving through the chaos with movements that seemed part science, part instinct. The Federation watched, some in disbelief, others with growing hope. On board, the crew coordinated a rescue operation for the inhabited planets below, sending drones and small craft through the storm's safest corridors to reach stranded populations. Each mission required split-second decisions and trust among the team. When one path closed due to a sudden burst of energy, another opened moments later, thanks to the crew's quick thinking and ability to adapt. The human crew's relentless determination inspired one another, and their unity created a powerful rhythm that pushed the Resolute through obstacles that would have stopped other ships. Thousands of lives were at risk, and every success was met with quiet celebration among the crew. The Federation's fleet, inspired by the humans' courage, began to follow their lead, using more flexible tactics instead of waiting for perfect data. Slowly, the storm's damage was contained. Evacuation and rescue efforts saved countless civilians and prevented what could have been a disaster on an unimaginable scale. When the storm finally passed, the galaxy witnessed something extraordinary. The Resolute, a ship many had doubted, had succeeded where others had stalled. Its crew's willingness to embrace uncertainty, to trust each other and their own instincts, had turned the tide. Observers realized that strength was not just about the most advanced weapons or the largest fleets, but about the spirit that drives individuals to face danger with creativity and courage. The storm became a turning point, a clear example that the human way combining heart, adaptability, and teamwork was a force unlike any other. Even those who had been skeptical before now looked at humans with new respect. The Federation leaders convened to discuss what they had witnessed, acknowledging that the humans had introduced a new kind of strength to the galaxy. Captain Langston's calm leadership and the crew's fearless resolve became a story told across star systems, inspiring hope in dark times. As the rescued populations began to recover and ships repaired from the storm's damage, the galaxy knew that the arrival of the Resolute was more than a surprise. It was the beginning of a new era where the power of unity and courage could overcome even the wildest cosmic challenges. Deep inside the ship, the crew prepared for whatever would come next. Their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they had not only saved lives, but had shown the universe what it truly meant to be strong. News of the Resolute's daring rescue mission and its unexpected success spread quickly throughout the vast reaches of the Galactic Federation, igniting discussions and debates in every corner of the galaxy. Alien leaders gathered in their grand chambers, their faces a mixture of curiosity, caution, and concern as they tried to understand what the human triumph truly meant. For centuries, humanity had been a distant memory, often dismissed as a species too primitive or too chaotic to hold a place among the powerful civilizations of the Federation. Now, with one bold act, humans had not only returned, but had also reshaped the way many viewed strength and leadership in the galaxy. Some of the older, more established powers felt a quiet threat stirring within their ranks. They wondered if humans might upset the balance they had maintained for so long, or challenge their authority in subtle ways. Their suspicions grew, and discussions behind closed doors became tense, with some leaders urging caution and even skepticism about trusting these newcomers. Yet, across the halls of power, others found inspiration in the human example. They saw in Captain Mira Langston and her crew a spark of hope, a reminder that cooperation and creativity could triumph over fear and division. To these leaders, humanity's return was not a threat, but an opportunity. Chance to rekindle the spirit of discovery and unity that had once bound the Federation together. Captain Langston herself became a figure of interest far beyond the corridors of the Resolute. She spoke openly and with gentle conviction about humanity's vision for the future. In speeches broadcast across Federation worlds, she shared stories of Earth's long history of overcoming hardship through cooperation, of how different cultures and ideas had come together to build something greater than any one group alone. Her words emphasized that humans did not seek to dominate or control, but to work alongside other species, sharing knowledge and learning from one another. This message resonated with many, especially those who had grown weary of political games and endless rivalries. Langston's vision was clear: resilience, adaptability, and unity were the true strengths that could help the Federation face future challenges. She urged leaders to consider how humanity's unique approach could complement existing powers, not threaten them. The ship itself, the Resolute, quickly became more than just a vessel. It was a symbol, a beacon of hope and ingenuity that inspired artists, thinkers, and leaders alike. Across the Federation, murals and holograms of the ship appeared in public squares, reminding people of the courage and heart that had turned the tide during the cosmic storm. Schools taught the story of the human crew's teamwork and quick thinking as a new lesson in perseverance and innovation. As alliances began to shift, conversations that once focused on suspicion turned toward collaboration. Humans were invited to participate in councils and diplomatic missions, their ideas welcomed with growing respect. Some species, previously isolated or distrustful, reached out for new partnerships, eager to explore what humanity could offer. The Federation itself felt a slow but steady transformation, one that seemed to breathe new life into old institutions. Despite the positive momentum, tension remained beneath the surface. Not everyone was convinced that humans would continue to play by the Federation's rules. Rumors circulated of secret meetings where some factions plotted to limit humanity's influence or test their intentions further. Captain Langston and her crew were aware of these challenges. They knew that trust could not be demanded, had to be earned through actions and consistency. The next steps would require patience and diplomacy, alongside the courage that had brought them this far. As the Resolute prepared for new missions, its crew remained focused on their purpose to build bridges rather than walls. Every encounter, every alliance formed, was a chance to show that humanity's strength came not from domination, but from connection. The galaxy watched closely, waiting to see if this new chapter would lead to lasting peace or more conflict. But for now, the human warship stood proud and unshaken, a symbol that even in the vast, unpredictable universe, hope and ingenuity could shine. The brightest dot, with the echoes of past challenges now behind them, and their place within the Galactic Federation firmly secured. The crew of the Resolute faced a future filled not with conquest, but with hope, discovery, and true partnership. Captain Mira Langston stood on the bridge of the ship, gazing out at the stars stretching endlessly before them, knowing that this moment marked the beginning of a new era, just for humanity, but for the entire galaxy. The mission ahead was clear: to lead a fleet composed of the most diverse species the Federation had ever gathered. Journeying into uncharted territories where no star maps reached and no history had been written, this was a voyage of exploration, fueled by curiosity and the shared belief that the greatest treasures were not just planets or resources, but knowledge and friendship. The atmosphere aboard the Resolute was different now, lighter, but filled with purposeful energy. The crew had evolved from isolated survivors to ambassadors of a vision where every species brought something unique to the table. Scientists from distant worlds worked side by side with human engineers, while diplomats from varied cultures exchanged stories and ideas in a new spirit of mutual respect. This fleet, united by the Resolute's example, sailed forward with the confidence that together they could face whatever mysteries the cosmos held. Along the way, the crew encountered phenomena beyond any previous record, vast nebulae shimmering with colors no eye had seen before. Ancient ruins of civilizations long vanished, and signs of life forms with strange biology and culture. Discovery opened new doors not only for scientific advancement, but for deeper understanding between species. The human approach to these encounters was simple yet profound: meet with open minds and hearts ready to learn and share. This openness sparked a renaissance across the Federation's member worlds. Inspired by the humans' blend of courage and compassion, artists created works celebrating unity. Philosophers debated new ideas about coexistence, and young explorers dreamed of joining the fleet to write their own stories among the stars. The ripple effects of humanity's return touched even the most distant outposts, reminding all that no matter how vast the universe, connection was possible and powerful. However, the journey was not without challenges. Unknown dangers lurked in dark corners of space, and old fears sometimes resurfaced in unexpected ways. Yet each test only strengthened the bonds between the crew and their allies. Captain Langston's leadership remained steady, reminding everyone that true strength was not in weapons or technology alone, but in trust, empathy, and the willingness to face the unknown together. The galaxy that had once been shocked by the appearance of a lone human warship now looked upon the Resolute as a shining example of what could be achieved when courage met compassion. It was a beacon lighting the path toward a future where differences were celebrated rather than feared, and where every species had a role in shaping a brighter destiny. As new friendships blossomed and alliances deepened, the human crew knew that their mission was far from over. This was just the beginning of a story that would be told for generations. A story of how a single ship, carrying the hopes of humanity, transformed the universe, not through domination, but through unity, respect, and the shared dream of exploration. With the stars as their guide and the galaxy watching in awe, the Resolute sailed on, carrying the promise of a new chapter written by many hands and many hearts, forever changing the way the universe understood strength and hope.